Hello everybody and welcome to another video here on Philly Sports Network. What a day it is to be an Eagles fan. Not only is the home opener tomorrow, but the team announced today that they have signed Josh Sweat, the defensive end, to a 3-year contract extension. This is a huge move for the team because it doesn't take a genius to look at that defensive end position and see that depth and long term aren't two words that go together as of right now. Outside of Brandon Graham, there really wasn't much. Both Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat were going into their contract years. Ryan Kerrigan isn't getting any younger and is also only on a 1-year deal. And behind that, it is literally just unproven talent like rookie Taron Jackson. So they needed to find some long-term stability from somewhere, and most people assumed it would come from either Barnett or potentially Josh Sweat, with the latter arguably being the more likely. Now, I was a big advocate of trading Derek Barnett earlier in this offseason, especially knowing that Ryan Kerrigan gives you exactly the same production at a fraction of whatever the team paid that $10 million option contract. However, the Eagles made a very nice move earlier this week, restructuring Fletcher Cox's deal. And while a lot of people look to Dallas Goedert's contract to be the next one they extend, it made far more sense to keep Josh Sweat because, in my opinion, he's probably got the highest upside. This is a player that has gradually overcome the criticisms that people have had about him. He's no longer an injury-prone player with a dodgy knee where people are going to be worried about it all the time. He got much better in 2019 where he flashed some of that potential. In 2020, he ended up with a career-best 6 sacks. And in week 1 of this year, he had 6 tackles in 54% of snaps. Now, what that tells me is the Eagles want to use him more. That is the second highest amount of snaps he's ever played in a single game in his career. So he's already carved out a strong role here in his Jonathan Gannon defense, and that means he may well eclipse those season best numbers. And if he does, they're going to be paying much more than the $40 million which they've paid to him earlier today. As of right now, that deal makes him the 13th roughly highest paid defensive end in the NFL. And for context, the average is only like $3 million more than they're paying Derek Barnett. Now, if I was to give you a hypothetical $10 million and say pay one of those two players, most of you will go the smart route and pay Josh Sweat. So this now gives the Eagles Derek Barnett as their leading edge rusher. It automatically, I guess, promotes Josh Sweat to that edge 2 role, and it's going to leave Barnett and Kerrigan to try and prove themselves worthy of a longer term future in the city of brotherly love. We know the Eagles really cherish trench play. They've just given Jordan Mailata a huge contract extension. They've just done the same to Josh Sweat. Those principles remain. They're not going to change. And that is encouraging because the team do still have a lot of building to do. As fun and as exciting as they are, there weren't really many long-term pieces to lean on for the next 5 to 7 to 8 years. And Josh Sweat now having this 3-year extension will at least go somewhere in projecting that. Like, he may not get all the way to that 5-year mark, but he'll be there for the remainder of Jalen Hurts' rookie deal, and that's what you want. You want a core to build around, and that's what the Eagles are getting right now. What does this mean for Dallas Goedert? Now, I was on the train, again, as you guys know, way before this was even a thing, like back into the offseason, saying they should look at trading Dallas Goedert. And if I had to choose right now between paying Dallas Goedert either an inflated price tag or keeping Zach Ertz, maybe taking a gamble on Tyree Jackson and paying someone like Josh Sweat or Jordan Mailata, I would happily take option B because it gives you more bang for your buck. Dallas Goedert may be the higher upside player. He may be the guy that is going to end up going on to have the most exciting career, but he's not the most valuable, and that's what this team needs to look for as a franchise that is laden with draft picks, that is looking for that next generation and trying to groom those guys through. The last thing they want to be doing is putting themselves back into salary cap purgatory with a huge deal for a player that I don't think has proved it just yet. It's been flashes, there have been injuries. I don't think that's going to be the guy I want to go all in on. Josh Sweat, for me, has defied people every year. He's proven himself as a starter. He's got better with every season, and that's why that's a smarter decision. Now, what could the Eagles do with Goedert? He is a viable trade target going in towards the deadline. He could also play under the franchise tag next year. Now, that value could change. I believe this year it was around $9 million for a tight end, so it's affordable. If you compare that to Derek Barnett's option year, like, would you pay $10 million for Goedert? Most probably, and it gives him another year then to try and maybe build on whenever he accomplishes this year in 2021. But the big news here, though, is that that defensive line now looks meaty. opportunity. Providing that Fletcher Cox remains on the roster and that contract is now manageable, you've got Cox, Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham, and Josh Sweat as your core. Behind those guys is where it gets fun. You have Milton Williams, you have Taron Jackson. There are a lot of players now coming through that could grow into depth roles and pick up maybe where Sweat's going to leave off right now, and that's the exciting thing. But guys, let me know what you think about this move. I'm a big Josh Sweat fan. He's super explosive. Like I said, his production's got better every single year. I think he's going to have an exciting career ahead of him. But how are you feeling about this move? Let me know down in the comment section below. From myself, Liam Jenkins, we'll see you tomorrow for some Eagles football.